Leadership is critical to keep your job, advancing your job, or find a job, and at all levels of whatever enterprise that you're in. And by the way, with boomers, leadership can be a huge attribute because of experience and soft skills. But with the changing times comes an even more important need for it. And for that, I have a leadership expert, an author, an adjunct professor, and a consultant, Dr. Jann Freed. And Jann, in one of your books, you really hit on a very unique take that a lot of other experts that you interviewed for the book said is really critical to leadership, especially in challenging times. What is it?
Well, it's interesting. My leadership book came out a few years ago, and I interviewed more than 100 experts actually in the field of leadership. And one of the biggest surprises for me was the fact that they said, I need to teach people or prepare people to deal with death, dying, and grief. And that was a big aha for me. I didn't what do you mean? And certainly we're living through it in these times. I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. And not just the death of people and colleagues, friends, family, but industries are dying, companies are dying. The way we used to do things, it's going away. We don't know what the new normal will be. And so one of the things that I have been integrating into my workshops and coaching people is that you have to understand your own coping mechanisms if you're going to help others. And if you don't, then, fear can take over, anger. It's not healthy. And one of the conclusions of my book is it's hard to be a good leader if you're not a good person. So really, it's a lot about personal development. And these are skills that I encourage people to learn, either through research, reading, workshops, somehow deal with this. And I think right now it's really these are critical skills.
And you make this great point. There are those companies that you quoted somebody as saying there are these companies that are just look at everything as asset-based and numbers and, cut people. And then there are other companies that are more human about it, but also view people as not a commodity, but an asset. And those are the companies that will tend to survive and thrive more, or what's your take?
Right. No, I think that's true. There's a book that I often use in my work. It's called Healing the Wounds by David Noer, Noer. And, it came out quite a while ago, but this whole idea of, companies are downsizing, furloughing, laying off people, and it matters how people do that, because they call it survivor syndrome. The people who are left really pay attention to what's being said, how it's being said. And so therefore, organizations really do need to, develop these practices. You can't just say your human assets are your most important assets and then treat people like expenses.
Right.
So it's really important that you walk the talk, and that, you and I were talking earlier about boomers, probably are better at the soft skills than some of the younger people. Soft skills meaning the more interpersonal skills. One author I follow, he says that we need to trade EQ for DQ, meaning emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, for digital quotient. That younger people probably are more technologically advanced, many of them, I'm generalizing. But, we as older workers, we have experience that gives us wisdom that really the younger generation could use. So, there's that intergenerational learning. They can learn from us, we can learn from them.